Some like to work in certain different directions, and mine is always, I always like to start with the yellow. I don't know why, but it's always with the light. And that helps me kind of direct where my shadows will be and how I'm going to start blending my colors and so on. And yellow always is better, and it dominates, especially in color pencil. And even then when I do a painting, I always kind of start with yellow. Kind of helps me direct myself in terms of where I'm going to do.
So you have the, basically is death. And in each, instead of corn, you can see like little figures. So death is just harvesting all the humans. But it's kind of like a symbolism there. So, but it's a transition of, you can see the figure, but at the same time you can see the skeleton, which is death. And you can see little figures here. And I did a series of 3. This is 2 of them, and I have another 3rd one too.
And sometimes the undercoating will be yellow. Just generally it's a different color, but it's just that I just liked working with yellow at the beginnings. And I think that's one thing that once you learn a certain path and a certain way of doing things, you kind of stick with it. And if it's successful for you, you kind of repeat yourself. And that's the way I do. I repeat myself with that.
This is when she was born. Your drawing. And this is, unfortunately, this is the last one. This is when she passed away. Here, this one. She was 7 when her mother passed away, and she didn't know that she had passed away because in Mexico they're allowed to, they bury them right away. There's no embalming or anything, and so she was on the bed with candles around her and so on, Doña Maria Guadalupe. And so Linda didn't know. She saw her mother was asleep. So she went into bed and laid beside her and fell asleep. And her aunts, later on she found out her aunts were heartbroken to take her away, but they had to because they were going to bury her mom. So that's her dad. Her dad picked her up and took her to her bed.
My wife passed away in 2011 in a car accident. She died in my arms. And as she was dying, I told her, don't worry, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of the family. As soon as I said that, she let go, and so she passed away. But in terms of that, so when I did in 2013, I was invited by Artes Americas. I showed them my portfolio, and they liked it. And so the second time that I showed them, they asked me if I would do an altar for Artes Americas. I said, fine, I'll do that. And I already had a couple of years had passed already, and I hadn't really faced, I was sad, I was miserable, but I really hadn't faced, reflecting Linda, my wife. So I did about 15, 16 drawings of her life, and I always, day to day, you would show photographs, but you really don't, there's no way of really learning about that person. And so I had done that before with my father and also with my grandmother, and so I said, I'm going to do it again with Linda. And it's just certain parts of her life that kind of stuck with me. And one of that was that when Linda was young, I mean, she didn't, when we first had our firstborn, John, she didn't really know how to wrap him. His arms were always out, his legs was hanging, and it was always out. She was young, and the firstborn was John, the oldest one. He's not here. This is Michael, he's the second child. And he's the middle boy. And she had always having a tough time wrapping Johnny. His legs were out, his arms were out, always that. And one morning, he woke up really well wrapped, like a little tamale. And she says, I didn't wrap him. Linda says, I didn't wrap him. Right away, she said, take me to my father. So we went to visit right early in the morning. We took off and went to visit him. And she said to her dad, look, this is the way he was
this is the way he is this morning. Así amaneció. Dijo, tu mamá lo volvió porque your mother wrapped him, because this is the way she always wrapped him. And then after that, Linda will wrap them in a certain way, so that we're really, their arms were in, their legs were in, and all she had was a little cover over their head, so they wouldn't be cold. So it was really amazing. I didn't understand when she said, "Come on, let's take me to my dad right away." And I didn't realize the significance of that until later on, that her mother had come visit her and showed her how to wrap her kids.